And now, this is the moment where Matt Black talks to people around the world. This is Black Chat. You're listening to Black on Track. Fantastic 2 hours of original music from around the world. We've got people who are just starting out. We've got people who've been doing it for years and have shared stages with massive names. I think these two guys fall into the latter category. They've been in the music business for a long time, pretty much seen it and done it, but you've really got to hear what they're doing together. It's absolutely fantastic, and you will get a chance to see them in the UK soon as well. So at the moment, I'm talking to the Smokin Novas. On the end of the phone, I've got Brian and Andrew. Hi guys, how are you?
Hey Matt, what's going on?
It's good. Fantastic. Thanks very much for being there on the end of the line. You're in another part of the world from us, so magic of technology has made this happen. Brian, if I can talk to you first. You started your career and then moved from Athens to Atlanta as a founding member of the Tastemakers, but you worked with some big names before you joined up with Andrew, didn't you?
I did. We were really fortunate in the Tastemakers to have a run. That band put out 2 or 3 records, and we had a chance to open up and play with some really cool artists back in that time, including folks like Smithereens and Meatloaf and more. It was super fun run.
Okay, that brings on to Andrew as well. Andrew, you've been in the music scene for a long time, since you were really young, and again, you've worked with some big people, Christian Bush from Sugarland and people like that. When you were looking as a duo, if you were looking together, were you actually looking for someone with the same sort of status as you, or was it more like, do I like the guy and let's see what happens?
I just follow the music. I follow, basically what I hear. And I collaborated on an album that Brian was working on called The Highlanders. And one of the tracks that I didn't sing on stuck out to me for the melodic playing of the guitar. And I went, that's cool. As a singer and a songwriter, I gravitate toward that, to the stuff that kind of that inspires me. And that was definitely inspiring with Brian's guitar playing. It's very melodic and original.
So it's a bit like you found the piece of the jigsaw next to you in real terms.
Yeah, it's really true. I mean, you do that when you're, as a creative anyway, right? Yeah. You know the things that you're like, gravitated toward because they fill out a scope for you, right? So it's definitely that way with me with music. Music is such a communal and such an artistic self-expression for me. So I was really lucky to meet Brian because we had instant personal chemistry too. We get along really well together, so that's helpful as well.
It really is, isn't it? It's like marrying 5 people if you're in a band, and I can understand that.
Totally.
But that really makes a lot of sense, because the music that you put out and the stuff that we've heard, it just gels. Everything works together. Now, I know you're probably working with some top people behind the scenes, mixers, masters, and engineers and producers and things like that. But you really need to make the song. You're not going to make a good song right. And I think the lyrics really stand out as well as being just innovative as well. Do you find that they flow, or do you sort of labor over the lyrics?
I have a really good flow with my words, and maybe that's come with experience. I just with so much time, I don't question it, right? So the more experience you have, the more you trust it, and the more practiced you are in that faith that you have in your own ability as a lyrical writer. So I get things and I immediately am like, okay, if it inspires me or it moves me in any way, immediately I'll just start coming with words with it, for sure.
Amazing.
I craft those, but that original hit is usually a large part of what the song becomes, for sure.
Yeah, I get that. And that's Brian, where you come into. You're sort of interpreting how he's feeling, obviously getting on with him and knowing how Andrew thinks as well. That makes it more three-dimensional as opposed to just a job, isn't it?
It totally does. And, he talked about my melodic stuff, but Andrew's abilities to craft and create lyrics and shape songs was unlike any songwriters I'd ever worked with. And we kind of come at it in the reverse way a little bit, Matt. So right. A lot of times when we collaborate and co-write, I'll have ideas on the guitar, hooks, melodies, different forms of a potential song, and then I'll shoot those over to Andrew, and then he'll take it. And it's just amazing how he'll take that and run another direction and reinterpret it or reimagine it from his view and perspective, and then layer the words on top of it. It's really fascinating process.
I understand what you mean. I've got a studio myself, and the way I look at it is like watching a tree grow, but in about 4 hours. You know, it really is fantastic. So you're bringing your amazing music over to the UK. You're working with Charlotte over here, and that's an incredible company over here to be able to sort of, you know, hook up with. I can just imagine it's like crossing the streams in Ghostbusters. It's going to be incredible. So have you got a plan at the moment, or is that being formulated of what you're going to be doing when you're over in the UK?
I think it's being formulated, but what attracted us to Charlotte and Kiwi was those local connections and insights into the markets there in the UK and Europe. And as Andrew and I talked about Travel Mercies, which is our new album that, you know, we released back in May, and what we want to do with it, where we want to take it, you know, kind of breaking some new grounds, if you will, for us personally. We said, hey, let's see if we can identify someone in those markets that might be able to help us out. They picked up our first single off the record, Wish You Away. Yeah. That opened up a conversation. And then, you know, from there we said, hey, look, we want to have an opportunity to come over and participate in some shows, some festivals. And so with that in mind, we're working with them as we speak. Our goal is to try to make something happen probably in the spring, summertime range. But that's what we're working on as we speak.
That sounds absolutely fantastic, and you can guarantee that we'll be there when you come over. Now, if people want to find out and keep tabs on, you know, how this is progressing and the plans for this, is there a place they can go to find out about the Smokin Novas?
I would always point our smokinnovas.com. Yep. It's kind of the primary site. We try to keep that current, updated with all the relevant information, and of course, you can find us on all the social properties and such as well.
Fantastic. So, ladies and gentlemen, that's the place to go, smokinnovas.com, to find out about what Andrew and Brian are doing. Now, I've read the whole review and the background to the guys as well. They really are massive names in the music business, but wait till you hear the record. You'll get it. You'll hear that these guys know what they're up to, and the song just flows. It'll take you somewhere that you've never been before. It's absolutely brilliant. I'd like to say thank you very much to Andrew and Brian. Thanks for joining us here on Black on Track.
Thanks so much, Matt. It was a pleasure to talk to you.
Thank you, Matt. We appreciate the support.
That door swings both ways. If it wasn't for you, we wouldn't have a radio show, especially with this sort of music. Ladies and gentlemen, this is Smokin Novas and a fantastic track. It's called How I Know Grace.
Yesterday, with your hair flowing black, and you gave me away, just as wild as spring on the green Irish Sea. Is all coming back to me now? Is all coming back to me now? I don't want to leave you behind, left here just looking for signs. Fire on the heath underneath, a blanket of stars was all we could see, and you told me that you'd never leave me alone. Just before they called you home, just before they called you home, I don't want to leave you behind, left here just looking for signs. Grace. that's near.